Welcome to BrandsTalk. I'm super excited to share my recent guest appearance on the Life School MasterClass Show with the incredible Elona Lopari. We dived into a topic close to my heart: how an authentic brand skyrockets your success. We discussed the importance of branding, the misconceptions surrounding it, and the steps to intentionally build a brand that aligns with your values and resonates with your audience. Let's dive into a dynamic conversation filled with passion and lots of golden nuggets to take away.
Branding, marketing, sales, systems, and team so they can make amazing impact and income and positively affect their communities worldwide. Ensure that you are sharing the show, you're subscribing, and you also are leaving us a review so we can create more amazing content around those areas to help you level up to the next level and also bring amazing guest experts that can share their knowledge and expertise with you so that you can create amazing legacy. All right, let's create amazing legacy builders. Welcome back to another show. I'm so excited to be back with you with another beautiful guest and conversation. This guest today is near and dear to my heart because we have such beautiful synergy together and our work aligns so much. So anyway, I'm just going to go through the flow of the interview. And I really hope that a lot of the conversation we'll be having today around brands, right? We talk about brands here very, very often because a lot of you that are listening to the show are these entrepreneurs and CEOs building brands and also creating the impact that you desire. So we will focus our conversation around how building an authentic brand skyrockets your success and kind of maybe talk about some of the misconceptions with branding that I know I hear all the time in the marketplace, so that you really can walk away with amazing content and wisdom. And also you get to meet another beautiful purpose-driven entrepreneur that leads with the heart. And also she's doing amazing impact with the work that she's putting out there in the world. So without further ado, I'd love to welcome you, Bridget Wojtkowski, to the show. So excited to be back here with you. And where are you based and connecting from?
Hi, first of all, thank you so much, Elona, for having me. I am based in Austria, that's in the heart of Europe, in the very center. Vienna, I don't know whether this rings a bell, or Salzburg, the sound of music. I think that's what you relate to, you guys in the United States, with a lot. It's Mozart and, the sound of music. So that's where I am and where all the Christmas markets are and all the great Christmas cookies are coming from. So that's where I am.
I love it. So you're bringing in European vibes here in the United States and reminding me of my first home, Albania. Look at that. It's such a beautiful, it's such a beautiful connection already. Bridget, so I usually start off my guests with the question that I think really sheds a lot of great light around their journey. So if you could share with us some of the few of the most meaningful moments that led you to this work that you're doing today.
Oh my God. How much time do we have?
As
So,
much as you want.
so my life was not a very conventional path. My journey was rather unconventional. I started out as a flight attendant very early in my life. I flew around the world for 5 years nonstop, pretty much nonstop. And this gave me a lot of, let's say, a lot of insights about how the global world works, about different cultures, about different mentalities. I really could immerse myself into crafting exceptional experiences for our customers, for our passengers. That where my passion for, hosting comes from. I just loved it to create exceptional experiences for others. So this is also one part of creating a strong brand, because nowadays everything is about an experience. We want to have the best possible experience, an experience that resonates, that goes very close to our heart. And you, as a business owner, you need to know how to do that. You need to know what makes a customer feel comfortable, feel exceptional. what is beyond their expectations. And that's the key, what you really need to understand. That's what you need to do to become a strong brand and sustain as a strong brand in the market.
Yeah. I journey. I love your journey with traveling and being on flight because I think it exposed you to a lot of different personalities, a lot of different cultures. And I think that probably always added to the work that you're doing today with helping brands go global and build an authentic brand. But I also love your unique perspective and branding. For me, brand is trust, and for you, brand is experience. And I think both of those are so important. So
Yeah.
thank you so much for sharing that. It's actually it goes to show you that we all have different perspectives in the work that we all do, and also goes to show you around. Sometimes when we feel that we need to be in competition with one another as brands, I think it's so much more beautiful when we're in collaboration because if you are authentic, right, and if you are coming from the heart, there's no one. We all have a unique soul, so there's no two Alonas, there's no two Bridgets, right? There's no two anything. So I think it's so beautiful to the more people understand that, especially in the business world, the more I think we can all collaborate with one another for sure. So tell me, is there any more in the piece of the journey that you wanted to?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, and I want to add something to that because I'm coming from this providing exceptional experiences, but here also the trust factor comes in because a brand is a risk reducer and people go with what they trust, with what they have experienced, where services stay consistent across markets in creating this excellence, standing for an excellence. So for whatever you're positioning yourself. So there is also the trust factor coming in. And another thing is because flying around the world also means being a global person. I continued that when I became a professor at the university. I was a teaching professor for around 23 years. I still do some global executive MBA things, but it's part of my journey. And I was teaching people from different parts of the world. And sometimes I had 14 different nationalities in the classroom. And the beauty is that everyone brings something into it. We can learn from each other. And aside from teaching content and to empower them with know how, there is this cultural experience or the cultural learning, the cultural factor coming in for them and also for me, of course, because they learn from each other. A Japanese learns from a US person, a US person learns from someone in Ghana. Yeah, so there were people from really all parts of the world. And that's the beauty of how do we as individuals coming from different parts of the world do something beautiful because we always have to work in teams. And that's what I also like. So this global reach, this bringing something to the world from all parts of the world, from human beings that have something to bring to the table and acknowledge that and discern that this is something that we really need to understand.
You
And
Leadership 101 right there in a classroom, in a setting of, a company you work for as you're flying, right? Again, a good people uniting together and sharing the diverse experiences only adds more to the table, especially for companies that have diverse talent. I think that's just the biggest asset you can have because now you have a different perspective to problem solving that you never had if you come from a same culture because different cultures obviously have different impacts on people and just like that perspective. I was also always fascinated by that aspect. I think it's amazing and really beautiful. Bridget, I wanted to go into definition of branding. If you can give our audience like a simple definition and also some misconceptions that you have heard in your work around branding. Not everybody or not every entrepreneur really understands what branding is or why is this important. When we think of branding, I used to be the same. I'm like, is it my logo, my website, my colors? I need to get those perfect. Or then go up and go out there and build trust and create an experience back to what we just talked about.
so you know what? Branding is something much more complex than people really think it is. most of the people have a very narrow mindset when it comes to branding. They think, this is a name, this is a logo, or this is a color. It is so much more. It starts much earlier. And what I always say, branding starts with mindset. So branding is actually shaping how others perceive you. It's all about creating a narrative. It's all about creating a story about who you are, how you present yourself to the world, to your clients, to all the stakeholders, but also inside within the company, because you also have a team. So who are we? What are our shared values that we live by? What is it that creates a healthy culture within the company? Because when you are healthy within, you also communicate that to the outside world. We had that also before in our conversation, right? So that is important. It's shaping perceptions, and and shaping perceptions in customers' minds. So what customers really create within their mind then is an idea of who you are. And that's the brand image. So there's two things coming together, something that you're pushing out as a brand, as a company, as a person. That's the identity. And that needs to be aligned with the perception that people have of you. That is the brand image, because that's something a lot of people confuse. What is a brand identity? What is a brand? What is a brand image? What is all of that? Right? And what is marketing? So this comes on top of that. So this is all something you really specific. And a brand is something that you want customer to feel about you. Yeah.
Mm.
A
This is
brand.
its own masterclass, and also from none other than a professor, right? I love that perspective that you talked about because, and that would be my next natural question for, again, as having a lot of my audience in mind, like thinking, what would they actually ask, right? So I love this stuff. So, then how do we intentionally build a brand now that we know that it's really the alignment of the perception of how we are seen from our customer? How do we do we build a brand that is authentic to us, keeping the perception piece in mind, but worrying or focusing more on what makes us feel good in our own authentic voice rather than what needs to be perceived by our customer? I think this is like a big conflict that I also feel, and I think a lot of people are also feeling. I'd love to hear your thoughts on that.
Yeah. So are we talking now more about personal brands, or do you want to talk about corporate brands, or do you want to talk about entrepreneurial branding? Because there are also some differences when it comes to approaching that. But when we talk about, let's say, an entrepreneur who wants to start out, embark on their journey, right? Starting their business. So what do you do first? And I said before, brain starts with mindset. So I came up based on decades of research and being an academic and coming from corporate and doing my own thing. And through all of that is you're going through three different kind of steps. So I came up with a branding blueprint. It's based on mindset, personal branding, and company branding or business branding. And it all starts out with having a vision of where you want to be in the future. Let's say in 20 years' time, what legacy do you want to leave behind? I think we resonate here. We go along with the same kind of framework thinking that we have. It's a very holistic approach. Branding for me is very holistic. As I said, it goes beyond this aesthetics, yeah, how we express ourselves on the website or any physical evidence. It's really about having a vision. How do we get there? What is our mission, our big why, our higher purpose that makes us do that thing, what we are doing? And what value set are we living by? A lot of people have no idea what are their 3 or 5 core values. What is that um, that is non-negotiable? The real power. What are your standards? What are your roles? How is your style? That is all really, really important because that builds on that fundament of vision, and values. That's all about mindset. And of course, pushing or making through or turning limiting beliefs because we are fraught with all of different kinds of beliefs. We are not good enough. We might be a failure. You know, there's a lot of beliefs of fear out there we have to get over with, right? So that's also a shift from employees' mindset into a business owner's mindset. So you need to have clarity about that and you really need to own it and then build your personal brand on that. So doing a situation analysis of who you are as a person at the moment. Yeah?
Mhm.
What are your strengths? Um, what comes back? What do you feel? What do you think? What do you say? What do you do? How do you do it? And then also come up with who do you want to be in the future? And then show them there. You need to develop a strategy, yeah, something that is intentional. And once you have this clarity, you can make much better decisions that you get there. And then you can decide, does it get me there when something is coming up or not? So the decision making becomes very easy.
Yeah.
It, and then also the feedback from others, of course, because you might have blind spots. There's things that you don't see, certain strengths maybe that others see in you, but you have never thought about this to be a strength. So you can incorporate that. That is creating a personal brand. It's a reflection. It's hard. It's challenging. It makes you cry. It makes you doubt. But you need to go through that in order to know who you truly are, so that you can be authentic. And it's not authentic. Someone else tells you you have to be. It's about who you truly feel you are. And you make the decisions based on that. Then this is authentic. And then people resonate with you. You get the right people into your realm or into
Your ecosystem. Yes. I
yeah.
love this stuff. Amazing, amazing knowledge and expertise that you share with us, Bridget. But then my next natural question is around exactly what you talked about. Is there a certain suggested step or framework that we should focus on? We're all in the service-based industry here. So I know you mentioned more around your personal brand, your entrepreneur brand, and then your company brand. Is there like a process of evolution that we go through? Should we build a personal brand and then that evolves into our company brand and then that might extend into I don't know what else, right? So is there like a progression that you can share
That's
with us?
things
I'm
so
confused.
yeah.
Yeah.
So a mindset, you need to establish a healthy mindset, a growth mindset, a business owner's mindset. You set up your personal brand. And once this is done, then you set up your company brand. Because as a solopreneur, as an entrepreneur, when you start out, you have a purpose, you have a mission. You're doing it for a reason, right? So all that you are with your values that goes into that vision and mission of a company brand identity. So then you're setting up this identity, what industry you're in, what category you're in, what needs are you satisfying, what are you offering, and who is your ideal client. So you're bringing that together. But in order to do that, you need to first have this personal brand because that feeds into your company brand. If you don't have that, you're not giving flesh to the bone. Because then a company, everything being equal, you're offering this. Yeah, there's a lot of other companies offering the same thing. But it's the human factor that comes in that makes the difference. It's the human blend that makes a company brand strong. It's the values that we live by, even though we are just a one woman show or one man show. Yeah? It's who we are as a person that makes the difference. And when we have that authenticity that goes along the company brand identity, it has something to do with the colors, with the font style, typography, with the brand name. It all has rich meaning, and rich meaning means there is a story to tell. There's a story to tell why you are having that colors, why you're using that font style, why you're using that tagline, why you're using that name. And this goes on and on and on and on. Right? And a brand also has this duality. that needs to also be put into the system. When you're building a brand, you have a rational side and an emotional side. The rational side is something that explains the facts. What is it? Industry, da 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 da. It serves this kind of purpose. But the emotional side is that feeling that you're communicating, that resonates with your clients, you know? Suddenly they think, huh, she actually can read my mind. Yeah. So a brand is very often an extension of the customer. So your um we always have this example, driving a Porsche is usually, you know, you can describe the person who is driving the Porsche. It's an extension of yourself. So they see a brand like that. Why are you going for an Apple iPhone or a Samsung? Why are you going for this and that? Why are you wearing Lululemon? Why are you going to that particular supermarket? Because you feel something, you resonate with that, you feel good about it. And that's what you want to achieve. So there's a lot of human factor, the human touch that is going into that brand. And that's why personal branding is so important.
Wow, I never heard of it kind of talked about that way, the way you just described it, of the logical and the emotional, because we do have two sides of the brains, right? And there is some people that might resonate more of the logic with the logical piece. So you do want to have both complemented in your brand to give people that overall experience and meet them where they are, and that's how they get attracted to you. I
Yeah.
love it. And I love that you mentioned storytelling because that would be my next question. See, we're so in sync together. It's amazing. But storytelling, we hear that, obviously we hear that storytelling is a really captive, great way, impactful way to really connect emotionally with our audience, or maybe even logically, depending on what kind of story is it that you are telling. What are some best practices to discover our brand story, but then also ensure that the story is impactful with our clients or with our communities?
Yeah. How, because the storytelling is really fueling a brand identity. Every identity has a narrative, and that's what people remember. And that's also in the face of AI, it's storytelling is becoming so powerful because it's all about creating emotion. Because what does a story do? It connects with customers' hearts first, always. I remember my students when I told them a story about well time being a flight attendant, and you know these are analogies that they remember, and then they understand the concept behind. I saw that stories in the exams. Out of 20 people in the classroom, 10 people told me my story because they could remember. Yeah, so all about connecting here. Yeah, first with your heart, and then they remember here, and that sticks. If you tell someone something about facts, it goes in here, it goes in here, and out here. It never resonates. It doesn't sit. But a story about something sits. And that is so important. Yeah. So every brand has a story to tell. That's why richness of meaning of brand is so important. You can tell stories, anything about your brand or about your customers, whatever it is, yeah. And that makes us as identities so important going forward also in the future because we are living in an environment that is high tech, and that's where we keep the humanity in place. And I think that become more and more important because people need that trust that there is someone else they can trust. It's a human being and not just a machine out there.
Yeah. Well, it helps us remembrance. I love that you said that it connects our heart, and it helps us remember because it's so true with all this information nowadays. We don't remember. Like I'm consuming so much content, but I have to box something somewhere or somebody somewhere so that I can start remembering them. And it's so true. Stories are so powerful because that's how we learn as human beings when we remember the context of or the purpose of the story or the message.
Yeah. And something else to that story, vulnerability, telling about your kind of failures. Failures are learnings. You know that. It's leaping us forward. It's really learn and understand. But this is also showing vulnerability, a vulnerability that gives us the that adds on to this authenticity. We are a human being. It's a story that we tell. And people can relate to that because they say, wow, she went through the same stuff. Wow, she did it. I can do it too. Yeah. This is something that just sticks. It
Yeah.
sticks to the relationship based on that. It's all the adventures, the wisdom, the experiences, and so on.
So true. I like Donald Miller's story brand where
Sure.
you being the guide, right? Because sometimes you see brands trying to be the hero, like, look at you lost your people.
And
He was
she's
right.
And T.P. Peterson. Oh, T.P. Peterson, right? He's the guy. He has the marketing. These two
Yeah.
together, they're just unbelievable.
I know. Well, listen, Bridget, I don't know if I'm sure the audience can feel the passion, but I think you're so passionate about the work you're doing and we can go on and on, but I will end this interview here and maybe bring you back actually and dive into deeper topics around branding because this is such in alignment with our audience as well. So maybe we'll make that happen next time. But for this one, I would love to end the interview with a final message, whatever you feel compelled to share with our audience of purpose-driven entrepreneurs and CEOs, conscious leaders. They're always looking to grow. They're always looking to create impact. That you might, that you might want to share with them, and also where is it that people can continue the conversation with you?
Okay, so and last message is that the life's nudges. Things are happening for you, and that's what I have experienced. Life's mysterious nudges are propelling us forward. The challenges, the changes, it's the unexpected turns. Uh, it's part of a grand design, I suppose. I mean, I was never moved, but after having gone through the first parts of my entrepreneurship, I totally believe in that because it's pushing us towards a greater purpose. We understand that. And it shifts your perspective and just see the challenges as growth opportunities. And it's never too late because I see a lot of people, "Oh, I'm 45, I'm 48. Now it's too late to start." No, no, no. It's the best time to start something new. Follow your dreams. And I think the worst thing that we can regret is not doing things. So, yes, do that.
Love that.
And when it comes to where people can reach me, it's via my website, BridgetBrands.com. But I'm very, very busy also on LinkedIn. So that's actually the easiest way to get in touch with me and set up a free discovery call for 20 minutes, book a call, contact me. I'm also running a masterclass. It's free on January 9th. It's called Ignite Your Brand, Your Entrepreneurial Roadmap to Branding Excellence. So you get all the tips and some golden nudges that help you to get an understanding what it really means embarking on your entrepreneurial journey and how important it is to brand early.
Yeah, I love that. Definitely go check out Bridget's website and the masterclass. I might attend that too because it's a new year and we're all sometimes, we just need a fresh new perspective to our brands and kind of pivoting and adapting to even what's happening in the world. So I don't think it's an exercise that stops, just like personal growth. It's not like you learned, this is my brand's this has been my brand for a while, but maybe you just need to elevated because your audience and people that are following you also might need a perspective new way or so you can stay relevant with your brand as well. I think that's something that it's a continuous evolution. Branding is something that comes along with you, right? So
Yes,
definitely it's a great opportunity.
exactly. It's because there's another misconception. People think it's something that is static. No, it changes with you. It evolves with your development. And when your business grows, it also has an effect on you as a personal brand. Because once you have built up your business, you're growing in kind of a symphony. Yeah. It's kind of feeding each other. So there is continuous growth on both sides. It's
Yeah.
a beautiful thing. Yeah. And the brain goes with you.
The alignment that we talk about. Thank you so much, Bridget. And Bridget also has a podcast, which I was interviewed on as well. So I'd love to kind of have you share that and kind of go follow that BrandsTalk. an amazing resource that Bridget has created to share her knowledge and expertise, just like she did with us today. So thank you so much, Bridget, for all this amazing work you're doing out there in the world. And I want to thank you for watching and listening to us today. And don't forget to share and subscribe. Thank you so much. Bye, everybody.
If you like my show, follow BrandsTalk on your preferred app, share it on social media, and if you find a minute or two, leave a quick rating or review. Thank you so much. If you want me to guide you to become a future market leader by transforming your ambitions and passion into an online brand that radiates beauty, brilliance, and authenticity, attracting the clients and recognition you deserve, drop me an email. I'd love to be your guide on your hero journey. Check out my website, BridgetBrands.com. Connect with me on LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. I hope you will stay tuned in on the next episode when we dive into the world of brands.